Okay, welcome, Hannah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for
I'm,
having me.
of course, I'm so excited for this. So I I feel like I want to just jump right in because we were already talking before.
I know. It's hard
But I
not
need to
to.
like
Yeah.
pull it back. Um, can you introduce yourself first
Yes,
before? Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. So my name is Hannah Talbot. I am the owner and founder of Anam Cara Healing Center in downtown Spokane. I'm a meditation and mindfulness teacher, but also a somatic energy practitioner and teacher as well, and really focused on um, bringing this work to our community,
Hmm.
because I believe that when we are, dropped into our heart, dropped into our bodies, that we create this ripple effect,
Hmm.
that reaches far and wide,
Hmm.
when we are centered and whole and happy and healthy, then the way we show up in our families is different. The way we
Hmm.
show up with our friends, how we show up to our work, our life, and that just ripples out, so that is really what I'm here to do, is just help our community drop into that place.
I love that. Well, and I actually, I mean, we haven't met in person, but we have been on the screen a
I
few
know
times.
you always feel like you know each other though when
I
you're on
know.
social, because you see so much of each other's lives. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually heard you on another podcast back in maybe April.
Awesome.
And that's when I first heard about what you were doing in Spokane, and you were offering I don't remember what you called it, but the
We did a
classes in
free
May.
virtual meditation challenge in
Yeah.
May. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it twice. We've been open for about a year and a half, a little over a year, about a year and a half. And so we've done it twice. Yeah,
Yeah.
where we give a whole month
Yeah.
free of virtual meditation classes. We teach daily 30-minute mindfulness and meditation classes. And yeah, it was like you can log in and get this for
I
free the entire,
know.
and it's pretty amazing to see how people, just take to it and
Yeah.
start this new habit in their life. And yeah, the idea is really to gift people the opportunity to make mindfulness a part of their life, and to show
Yeah.
them that, meditation is one method, but
Hmm.
we do all kinds of different things here. And really, we're like mindfulness coaches. It's
Hmm.
kind of like having a mini coach every single day, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I jumped in, and my two best friends live across the street. And so I was like, you guys, we have to do this. And
Yes.
they jumped in. And so it was just like really cool to see what you're doing there. And I was able to I attended mostly your classes, but
Yeah.
some others that it was just interesting to be able to like
Yep.
get a taste for what's available, what's out there, and that it can be virtual. It doesn't have to be in
Yep.
person.
Yep.
So then after that, I was like, well, and also when you were on that podcast, everything you were saying, I was like, she knows her stuff. She knows what
Oh,
she is talking about.
thank you.
Like you were talking about like the nervous system and being dysregulated and when we're triggered and fight, flight, freeze, all of that. That I'm like, I gotta have her on. I gotta
Oh,
have her
I'm
on
so
my
excited. Oh, that's
podcast.
so cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so here we are, and I'm really
Yes.
excited. Before we talk about all the things, though, I was really intrigued by when you filled out the questionnaire for me. You said you'd been to what, 13 different countries?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
my
to talk
gosh,
about.
that's
Yes.
so cool. So obviously we could talk about all the things with that too, but that's not why we're here. But I am curious, like, what was your favorite country that you visited?
Well, I always say that I will end up in Southeast Asia in some way. We were in Thailand. We were in Southeast Asia for 2 months, and so we got to go to Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia.
Oh my
And
gosh.
boy, just incredible. I love Thailand,
Okay.
but just tropical water. I mean,
Yeah.
and for me, the food there is just
Okay.
so amazing, and the
Hmm.
culture, and I love it. I love it. I just
Yeah.
love that area. So that's been my favorite so far. but
Okay.
we're,
You're
we're
not
not,
done.
that's right.
Where do you
Right
want to
now, I'm
go?
definitely here at Anam Cara. I've been
Yeah.
joking that I haven't left Spokane, except for like to go to Chihuahua. We have a little cabin in Chihuahua, but I had
Okay.
I taught at East Adams Rural Healthcare in Ritzville.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's like my big outing
Oh,
for the
whoa.
year. But I mean, I have just been here, nonstop. I joke that Anam Cara is a brand new baby, and we're
Yeah.
just starting to kind of like get to a little bit like the baby can be left, you don't have to check on them every
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
They can play by
Quite
themselves for a little
independently.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're getting there. So yeah,
That's funny.
but I love
Okay.
to travel.
So tell me, how did you get here? Like
Yeah,
how did Anam Cara become a
yeah.
thing?
There's the short story and then there's the long story.
Okay.
I'll give you a medium version.
Perfect.
So I had been wanting to open up a healing center for, probably about 8 years now, maybe more. I originally thought it would be like a yoga studio.
Okay.
And I was over in the Issaquah area, the Seattle area. Really, this dream started when I lived in, South Seattle, Tukwila area. And I
Okay.
was going to a yoga studio over there and just was like, man, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
I kind of got the invitation to start teaching, and it just was like, this is what I want to do. But it was always the exact same mission statement that I wrote 8 years ago is the
Mhm.
same now, which is that idea to drop people into their heart centers so that that has a ripple effect in our community.
Mhm.
And I'm talking like I would be up in the middle of the night. Like I
Mhm.
could not sleep when I was just like writing out all of my ideas in the
So
class,
excited.
like, put posters up all
Yeah.
over my walls. And my husband's like, what is going on? And I mean, I did a complete career change. I used to be director of operations for 4 restaurants.
Oh, wow.
And so, just started teaching and then left that job and just started basically doing this business mobily.
Mhm.
So I started this event-based business with a girlfriend where we sort of did mini yoga retreats that came to you.
Okay. Okay.
That expanded into them being more like blessings and
Okay.
like these special occasions to really pause and honor whatever you're celebrating in your life. Wedding, baby shower, bachelorette,
Mm.
but also times of transition,
Mhm.
times of grief,
Mm.
times to really just gather your people together.
Mhm.
And so we would, use things like yoga or arts and crafts kind of thing,
Mhm.
like making flower crowns, things to get into your, kind of get you in your body. So
Yeah.
then we can really talk and express and connect from there. And so that's how my business started, and always with the mission to open up a space. So
Yeah.
for years, I was doing my business plans, writing different, versions of how this would go, and got into healing work. Yoga led to meditation,
Okay.
meditation and mindfulness led to energy work, that led to teaching this work,
Mhm.
and it just felt like home.
Yeah.
I love to teach yoga, but I am so at home teaching things about energy,
Yeah.
um, coaching and connecting people to themselves, like through our words, more than I am
Sure.
through asana, through posture, even
Yeah.
though I love it and I think it's a beautiful practice. But yeah, that idea to always open the space was always there. That was
Mm.
always my mission. And I was looking for a space and trying to figure out how the heck I was going to come up with the amount of money that I needed to,
Yeah.
and decided to open up a very small space in Issaquah.
Okay.
And it was like 400 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Started construction on it. Yeah, it was like just a perfect little starter
Yeah.
spot, started construction on it, and ran into permitting issues.
Oh.
The owner of the space hadn't permitted it correctly, and there was an issue
Oh.
with the plumbing, and so was waiting on that to all happen. And then COVID happened.
Oh,
And so
COVID.
then it was like an even bigger pause. And
Yeah.
I just kept doing everything virtually. Even though the
Okay.
whole time I was like, I don't want to do virtual. I don't like virtual. I don't want to do virtual. I want to do in person. By the end of, when we were coming out of it, I was like, wow, I actually the whole time was
Yeah.
teaching. So it, just evolved. And essentially around that time, we were put on hold. The space was just put on hold. And we started thinking, wow, we don't have to be here. My husband was working from home at that point. I'm from Montana originally.
Okay.
He actually was born in Spokane. And
Okay.
so we do have ties here.
Mhm.
But, coming from the Seattle area, like you just like Spokane is, I always joke that it's like the younger brother that you kind of like always poke fun at or something, it's like
Yeah.
we never considered moving
Living
here.
here. Yeah.
But a few years before we moved here, we started coming here on our way to Montana and just
Okay.
hanging out and like, God, this town is so
Yeah.
cool. We loved the
Yeah.
downtown. We loved the vibe. Always had a good time when we visited. And so we started kind of thinking, during COVID, like a lot of people did, like,
Yeah.
wow, we don't have to do life like this anymore.
Yeah.
Even more to the story, but essentially like I just all signs pointed to it's time to go. The space, I ran into more issues with that landlord
Oh,
and basically had to just like cut losses, get as much back as I could and let it
and
go.
leave. Yeah.
Which was then I was free to kind of go wherever. And I convinced my husband to sell our house and to move to Spokane. And so I came here with the intention to open this space.
Okay.
And again, I can go on and on. There's all kinds of fun synchronicities about how I found this space, but the space really found me. I never thought that we would be up on a second floor of a building. I always visualized like down on the first floor somewhere, I just never imagined being in a big, huge building in downtown. But as I moved here and, drove around and got to know Spokane and truly came here with, like I said, this intention and came energetically asking this, land, what do you want of me? How do you want me to serve here? How can I serve this community? Show me the way. And it was like, it has to be downtown. Like it makes so much sense for it to be downtown. Everything flows into there. And I connected with my dear friend Alyssa, who happens to be the building owner. Her and her family own this building, and it just was a perfect match when I came into the space and saw the wall-to-wall windows and our view of downtown. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
so it's just really been a match made in heaven. And I've only been in Spokane for, a little over 2 years, but we moved here during COVID.
Yeah.
And so for the first 6-8 months, like we weren't able to go out and socialize or do anything.
Sure.
But, for this 1.5 years that I've been able to connect in this community, it has just been incredible. It's such a lovely community, such good people. It reminds me, it's kind of the perfect match for us of Seattle and Montana. Like people are just warm and friendly and helpful and want to connect with you. So yeah, it's been a really great experience so far.
That's awesome. So what does Anam Cara offer?
Yeah. So we have daily meditation classes. Those are, I think I was saying they're about 30 minutes long. We offer them in the morning, in the evening, and noon. So there's, almost every day you can pop in for at least one class, if not multiple. The classes are really every class will have some meditation in them, but we expanded from just being meditation classes to really mindfulness classes. And so our classes are around, how to actualize the life you want,
Yeah.
through multiple different avenues, right? We talk about goal setting and mindset and
Mm-hmm.
in our manifest class, which is every morning. And then we've got a science of somatics class that we just added.
Okay.
Again, another behavioral therapist is teaching that, and he's really just bringing all of his science that he and research that he's been doing for the last 4+ years in college, and getting his master's and doctorate in this. And getting funded by the college based on this research. So he's sharing like one tool a week
Cool. Yeah.
on how to regulate your nervous system.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that neat? So
Yeah.
really that's what it's about. It's like some of the classes are straight meditation or breath work.
Mm-hmm.
We have a mantra class. There's just so many different classes. So we do daily classes. You can come in person to join us for some tea and hang out for a little bit before the class, a little bit after, or you can just pop in virtually like you
Mm-hmm.
guys got to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And then we do workshops. So those are anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours long. Those are usually in the evenings and on weekends. So this week we have a women's circle. We're doing it outside.
Cool.
We have women's circle every single month. It's called Moon Circle.
Okay.
And then we've got a breathwork class. We've got sound baths.
Sound baths. Yeah.
Yep. We teach all different kinds of, just themes. Usually they go around with the season or what's kind of happening seasonally, but really around like, how do we live a whole life?
Yeah.
Like feel whole in our lives. How do we not just live, but thrive?
Yeah.
My motto, my blessing, my wish for the world that I started this work with. The very first thing I ever did before I even wrote my mission statement or my vision plan or my business plan was this blessing that everyone be nourished and ignited. That's how we feel inside in our, soul, mind, body, that we are nourished and ignited, we feel alive. So we also have one-on-one classes or one-on-one offerings, where you can work with a coach, a healer, somebody who does somatic work like I do with Reiki. We have a massage therapist. There's so many different healing modalities that we do one-on-one. And then we also do the blessings, the personally curated experiences. And then we also, let's see, corporate. That's the other one, is we work with corporate teams. Like I was telling you, working with nonprofits, working with large corporations like Amazon, teaching their management team, about stress, anxiety, burnout, how do we tend to these things? And when I go in and talk to those teams, we're not talking about let's meditate, for 30 minutes a day. Of course, that's a wonderful thing to do, but it's more like, here's tools for real-time stress management.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so I know that not everybody, there's people that think mindfulness and meditation is like woo woo, right? Like, oh, that's a little out there.
Yes.
But and maybe at some point in my life, I might have thought that too. I'm not even really sure.
Yeah.
All that to say,
yeah,
as I've gotten more into it, it's really not. Like, it really is about the nervous system and helping our bodies feel centered and whole, especially if we've dealt with hard stuff or we've experienced trauma and our stress response is heightened. These are tools we can use to like heal and move forward in a healthy direction. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that every body in the modern world, is dealing with a nervous system that is stressed, right? We have all of these lights, we have phones, we have, 24-hour news, we have social media, we have very busy lives, nobody's nervous system was biologically put together to handle that kind of stuff coming at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, our bodies get stuck in that fight or flight response.
Mm-hmm.
Your nervous system is, you know, the sympathetic part of your nervous system is turned on, and it literally feels like you're running from a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
Like at all times, you know, and we talk about, there's so many of us talk about anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
having anxiousness, feeling stressed, being busy.
Mm-hmm.
And our kids talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even our kids talk about that feeling. And so I don't think that anybody is free from that right now. You know,
Right.
we all have a nervous system that needs to be tended to. Then you layer on top of that, our life's experiences, that whether they are the big traumas,
Yeah.
or even just small traumas that
Yeah.
your body didn't understand or have verbalization to understand or communicate with, whatever it didn't. Basically, you know, a trauma really is like anything that your body doesn't understand, is emotionally, physically happening to it.
Mm-hmm.
It puts up its guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we often don't have words to express this. We don't even
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening. And so we, you know, take on these experiences in our life, and we kind of stack these up and stack these up. And over time, our nervous system is taxed. It's
Yeah.
tired, you know? So I really do believe that all of us need tools to soothe that,
Mm-hmm.
to get our body into the parasympathetic gear, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I call that like the peace part of our nervous system.
Yeah.
That's the rest and digest, the part of us that feels calm. I think it's the part that so many of us desire to feel,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, slowing down is uncomfortable for
Yeah.
so many of us,
Yeah.
right? Which is why I don't go teach, you know, the Amazon general managers how to meditate for 30 minutes
Yeah.
a day. We don't start there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because it honestly, for a lot of us, it doesn't feel good to slow down.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the work that I try to do, is just really teaching you tools through things like awareness,
Mm-hmm.
breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about somatic tools. Somatic is just the body,
Yeah.
because
Can you talk about that a
sure,
little bit
yeah.
more?
You know, so most of this stress, you know, it manifests in our mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
We, in our thinking, in how we're processing what's coming at us, but we feel it in our bodies. And so much of the work that we try to do to manage stress is up here in the mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? Talking it out, which it's very helpful. It's one part. Like
Mm-hmm.
having therapy, having a therapist
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
incredible, but it's one part. And I think what you're hearing so many therapists say now, and neuroscientists, and you know, just the research is there, that we know that we have to take it from just up here and come down into the body, because our body stores those traumas,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
those memories, those experiences that it doesn't understand. And so again, so much of that happened, you don't even have verbalization for it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't talk your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we don't get into the body and let the body know how to be calm,
Mm-hmm.
how to rest, how to actually digest, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell it to do that all day long. Like,
Sure.
that's why so many people say, I can't meditate.
Yeah.
You know, they get into it and it's like, ooh, it's too busy in here. It's too crazy.
Yeah.
Let me do, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not even comfortable just
Being.
being.
Yeah.
And so somatic, soma means body.
Mm-hmm.
Somatic is just any kind of work that deals specifically with the body, and the idea is that it's separate from the mind.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that you have your mind work and then you have your body work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the beauty is combining it all together.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that's really, and I think that, again, that's what most neuroscientists and even therapists are really gravitating towards is that, boy, if we don't do something to get people into their bodies, it's just, we're going to do 20 years of therapy and not get anywhere, or not get to that feeling of wholeness. Yeah.
Which is what we all want.
We all want that. We all have the same, I think, at the end of the day, right? We want to be happy. We want to be thriving. We want to feel nourished and ignited, alive, and calm. I think a lot of us desire that, even though we are kind of an adrenaline junkie, you know, whether that's, it doesn't mean jumping out of a plane, you know, adrenaline is just getting your likes on your post. You know, that's the same thing, that dopamine hit that we're getting all day long from our emails, from our texts, from, you know, just everything that's coming at us. It's, again, it's hard to be at ease, at rest.
Yeah. Okay. So where would someone start then? You said, like, we're not just going to jump right into
right.
Like
and really this is, and exactly. And this is why I built this whole center, is because I'm the person who could not use the app, who could not, you know, just every time I tried to meditate on my own, I felt like I was just quote unquote failing at it, no good at it, could not slow down. And so I was searching for a place to start, you know, and someone to teach me and kind of hold my hand, because I was reading the books and seeing the things and wanting that feeling, but it wasn't happening. So that is why we built Anam Cara, because it really is a great place for you to just come and start. Really, truly, the best place to start is with your breath. That is what I tell everyone. This is your number one tool for nervous system regulation. And if you can breathe and start to play with being the driver of your breath, then you can start to regulate your nervous system and come into coherence. And again, there's just so many different tools and ways you can breathe, but there's so much research saying this is how we do it. You know, this is why we do it, is because it works. It will tone the vagus nerve. It will turn on the parasympathetic system. And it will calm all of those feelings that tells you to run. Because you think about, you know, breath, like when you are running from something, you're not taking slow, deep, calm breaths. So it's the opposite of resting, you know, is like, and most adults breathe at about a 20% capacity, whereas most toddlers breathe at like an 80% capacity.
Interesting.
And you think about toddlers, you know, like toddlers, like their nervous systems are generally pretty regulated, right? They have pretty good posture. They don't hunch over like this, right? We don't see that until later on. They have pretty good posture. They're very mobile and buoyant, right? They can bend and lift and pick up anything and roll. And they also they don't hold on to emotions. They just express in real time
and keep moving through.
And they keep moving through, right? If they're angry, you know they're angry. If they're happy, you know they're happy. If they're laughing with their whole body. It's so funny. They're fully present and aware, and they breathe at 80% capacity.
Interesting.
Now, over time, we're told, you know, like, don't feel that. Don't act like that.
Stop crying.
Quiet down, right? Don't feel that right now. And over time, we shrink, and we stop breathing. Most of us breathe at like 1 or 2 seconds. It's hit you about right here, right? And so that's literally telling your brain, I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. We're running. There's something to watch. We've got to be on guard, instead of, you know, so if you can just try to draw your breath out even 1 more second, to 3 seconds, to 4 seconds, is an incredible way to start to control your nervous system, and something that you can do while you're doing everything else in your life. You don't have to slow down. You don't have to stop. You don't have to tell anyone you're doing it. You can just breathe. And it really does bring you into the present moment too, because it gives you something to focus on.
Sure. Yeah.
And even if it's only 3 cycles of breath that you think about it, it's a pause, and it's a start. So I think working with the breath is the best way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. You had said that you wish more people would ask about trauma. What's not working for you?
Yeah.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I think that anytime, somebody says like, this is the way, this is the only way, we take away agency from people. I think that there are things that work for some people, and I think that there are things that do not work for other people.
For sure.
Just like when we in meditation say, close your eyes if you'd like to.
Yeah.
You don't have to close your eyes. I've had people say things like, I think everybody should do this. Obviously I just said breathing, but we literally all have to biologically breathe to stay alive, right? But I'm talking about like modalities, tools, well, that's great if that worked for you. And that's great if that worked for 5 people. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for every single person, which is just like meditation. I don't think that every single person has to meditate in order to be mindful, in order to be whole. I think it's one tool that we have. And I want to be a center to show people how to do that. But I also want to show them in lots of different ways, which is why our classes have so much variety to them.
Yeah.
I think I've just, we've been told so much in life, like, this is the way. And I think if we ask more people, is this working for you? They might find more agency to say no. And find that really empowering and find what does work for them.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Because, well, and that's part of my heart behind this podcast is to bring awareness to there's more than just one way, right? Like that's why I have you on today to talk about something different than, a couple of weeks ago I had an EMDR therapist on and I had a safe and sound protocol practitioner on who knows all about the polyvagal theory. And so, it all comes together in some capacity, but there's not one right way. And I love that. I think that's where it's at, is find what works for you, have a growth mindset, and be willing to move forward in a positive direction.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And because what works for you too, one year may not work for you another year.
Right.
And being attached to, our systems and our tools. And, it's like you said, have a growth mindset, because there's so much out there. I love that.
Yeah. Well, Hannah, we are at the end of our time. Can you believe that?
That went fast.
I know, but I do have one more question for you. This is something I ask all of my guests. What are 3 resources that you would recommend to someone who is pursuing healing from their trauma or just, trying to move forward in a better direction?
3 resources. Well, I have dozens of books and podcasts and teachers that I really like. But I think some of the resources, like if I was to just be talking to somebody, what I would share with you right now today, would be, of course, number 1, the breath. Like I would work with you with breathing and teach you about heart coherence. Whitworth teaches this. The Heart Math Institute is who brought this research forward. They have probably close to 40 years of research on it now. And it's all about bringing your heart rate variability, your blood pressure, all your nervous system, all of it into coherence, into harmony. And so it's a 3-step breathing process. So I would teach you the heart coherence breathing.
Okay.
And the next one would be havening, which is a technique that I am teaching my somatic energy practitioners. You can do self-havening, but also you can do it for your kids. You can do it for a friend. If you are a coach, you could do it on your clients. So havening is really this, like, you're just literally just stroking your arms and your forearms while you're kind of affirming either safety for yourself, or you could be visualizing a beautiful place, like a beach somewhere or a special garden. But you can do this, just rubbing yourself is nice, just that somatic touch, but really you can add, some unwinding of a stressful, traumatic event or stress that just happened, by adding some visualization to this. So it's, you can do all kinds of different techniques, but if you look up havening on YouTube, it's on there. And then, gosh, what's the last one I would do? I would say come to Anam Cara.
Yeah, there you go.
Classes. We have so many ways to really support you on whatever level you're at, whether you're looking for community, whether you're looking just for your own growth, or just a place to anchor and connect in, whether it's every day, once a month, every couple of months, you come in for a workshop. We are here for you as a resource. So yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, and I will make sure I link all of the ways to find you. I'll link the website to Anam Cara. I'll make sure that they know how to find all of the information we talked about. So that'll be in the show notes. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And
this was so fun. Oh my gosh, this flew by. What a blast.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, it always does. So yeah. Okay. Well, have a super fabulous day.
Thank you. You too.